Welcome to Slash Forward. In this episode, we're doing the Western, zombie style, with the 2011 film Exit Humanity. For more zombie-themed Civil War reenactments, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. We open on some introductory text followed by a narration introducing us to an old journal that may contain some early info that would be helpful in managing a modern zombie problem that we never witness. So let's peruse it, shall we? We go back to Edward Young, a musketeer for the South who noticed toward the end of the war that he occasionally came across the random relentless soldier who seemed unwilling to die. But he puts this behind him, and 6 years later we find him, 2 days after leaving his family for a hunting trip. He returned and had to kill his zombie wife, and found his son Adam had gone missing. He runs off into the woods like a wild beast in search of his progeny. While doing so, he flashes back to his recent trauma, remembering that at that time, he was also flashing back to prior memories that informs us old Ed wants nothing more than to be a good man. As we try to figure out where exactly we are in all of this, he reaches a watering hole where he's confronted with the horrific visage of his now undead son. When he eventually gets back home, we see he's having a real hard time relaxing, possibly due to the unending hellscape that has become his daily life. But the journal, the sweet journal, it reminds him of a waterfall that brought him solace in the war and would be the perfect place for his dead son's ashes. So he embarks on this journey, and before long he finds another zombie hunter friend, Isaac. Before they can even agree on a new secret handshake, they have to unite against a common enemy, and then later bond over some roasted pumpkin seeds and pumpkin-spiced beers. Isaac tells him about a crazy general with a stronghold in the woods, trying to find a cure to the disease. To that end, he recently abducted Isaac's sister Emma. Isaac gets Edward to agree to join him in a mission to save her, and in the morning they head out in pursuit of this common interest. But along the way, Edward gets bushwhacked by the general and his colonels. They're just out poking around, following up on rumors of someone walking around with immunity to the plague, as one does. They volunteer Edward for their medical testing program, under threat of shooting his dick off. When he gets to the cell, he finds Isaac's kin, and then he breathes heavily for a long period of time. Meanwhile, the doctor drops in on the general to provide a report. No progress as of yet, which the general finds unacceptable. But the program is essentially over at this point, as when they come for Emma, Isaac peekaboos the guard and facilitates the escape of all the prisoners. In the confusion of the escape, represented here by the kooky camera work, Edward takes a slug to the leg. Emma suggests they retreat to the farm.
The farm's burnt to the ground.
Yeah, idiot, where have you been? So they go to the medicine woman's old house instead, and they find it still standing, with the owner still creeping around. She helps by gently massaging the wound until he's stabilized. Then she shows the others her zombie collection, and explains the safety measures she's taken around the property. They work to earn their keep while Edward's body mends, and they eventually settle into a new way of life, hoping time will heal all wounds. But the attacks become more persistent until one night Emma gets bit. But it's all good. She's been bit before. She just didn't say anything due to her fear of being bite-shamed in public. And she had no problems with that bite, even from normal bacterial infection. Which I guess means the general was onto something. As their burying holes get filled up and they start to get light on ammo, they decide to take additional action to shore up their supplies, making for the general's encampment. They get in and out but don't go undetected. Edward leaves the next day to attend to the matter of his son's ashes. While gone, a colonel finds their camp and reports it back to the general, so they posse up and roll out. After Edward finds his inner peace, he returns to find signs of outward violence. He's unable to save Eve or the house, so he heads out for the others. He puts on his battle makeup and announces himself to the other creatures of the night, leading them to the fort. He leaves them to do a little gnawing on some of the soldiers while he makes his way in to find Emma and Isaac. He gets them, but Isaac doesn't make it out. Once they emerge, Edward splits off to lead their pursuers away and tricks the colonel into a tiger pit. Then the general closes in and convinces Edward to engage in what would have been at the time a modern-fashioned duel. This proves an ill-advised move as Edward guns him down on the riverbank. He then reunites with Emma and they start their new life together, aiming to repopulate the lands with zombie-immune babies. Quick reminder that I have a website where you can make donations to support the channel. Any donation earns access to an uncensored 10-minute review of Toby Hooper's Life Force. It also now has some horror-themed apparel, so check it out. Exit Humanity has a surprisingly hardcore cast, but suffers somewhat from a meandering plot. It was, overall, okay. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.